Welcome to this session today, where we are looking at a very different way of thinking about supporting the well-being of your staff through art. My name's Emma Arfhader. For those of you who don't know me, I have an HR background and now run Hälsa Wellbeing, a company who provide wellbeing services to organisations across the UK. Also on the call today, we've got Mike Hall and Nikki Rushforth from MJH ArtStudios. And we've also got Robert Manson from Haldane Health. Robert has a background in occupational health and wellbeing and now runs his own consultancy. Now, I've worked in the wellbeing sector for many years and have really understood the key link between workplace wellbeing, productivity and retention. And we know that the right wellbeing interventions can help us to improve performance, engagement, retention, think about reducing absenteeism and burnout, but also more importantly, building what we call a culture of positive and supportive workplaces. But what I've noticed in the wellbeing space over the past few years is a real shift in the outcome in employee engagement surveys from reward-based motivation to things like life purpose and more meaningful work connections. And I've also seen organisations wanting to really think about improving team building and collaboration through things like group sessions and wellbeing linked activities. And I also know that organisations are looking for initiatives that are really different and that bring people into the moment whilst enhancing that team productivity. And this is where I think art and wellbeing are the absolute perfect combination. So Mike and Nikki have been doing some fantastic work in this space. So we're really looking forward to hearing from them today about their experiences. So Mike and Nikki, I'm going to start with you, thinking about, can you give us some workplace art examples of where you've worked with organisations, thinking about what the client wanted, perhaps what you did and the impact of that, and that sort of impact on teams that you've seen from taking part in a more creative session.
Okay, so this is Solupac, and Helen McDonald, who's the MD there, wanted to sort of do something a little bit different with her employees. She's got just about 24 employees, and they work really hard. They work in different teams, and she just wanted to sort of create a different vibe for them. So we got together and came up with this kind of creative workshop that we could do with them to kind of improve employee engagement. So she mixed up the teams and then we took them into small groups and we got them all painting. Well, obviously there was some concerns when they first arrived because some of them hadn't sort of painted since they were at school or done any drawing. So there was definitely some nerves. So Mike and I did an icebreaker, got them all sort of a bit more relaxed, a bit more sort of open to sort of not holding back and just relaxing. So we then got them painting individual canvases with we gave them sort of some mapping that allowed them to have some creativity, but also form together so some sort of bigger picture, if that makes sense. They were all sort of parts of a jigsaw, which then fitted together, as you can see from the photos here. They worked together, collaborating with the colours, making sure they matched, making sure that the river flowed through, and then they were hung on the boardroom wall, which is the final picture there, you can see. So it encouraged them to speak to each other, it encouraged them to work together as a team, and then because it went up in the boardroom, there was this real amazing feedback that they were part of something quite a bigger picture, if that makes sense. Yes, they are important as individual canvases, and that's great, but together really powerful. So the feedback we got was well, it was just inspiring. You know, they were a team and they just seemed stronger. They were happy, they were more confident. Helen said the productivity following that, and just the general buzz through the whole factory and workshop was incredible. And she was immensely delighted, as were everybody that took part in the activity. In fact, I think you can probably hear it from Helen and from Luke directly. So I'll let them say their bit.
I'm just going to forward now so you can all listen to a video of what they thought about this. Before we do that as well, I'd just like to reiterate that art was put up in a central place in the workplace, which is a fantastic representation of the work that they'd done collectively as a team.
Being able to incorporate a workshop where the team worked together and put the people into the art as well was a huge draw for me. The minute the team sat down and got involved in the activity, it was evident that they were all very engaged and very involved and really enjoyed it.
The nature of doing that art piece together meant we had to work together. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think it'll look even better on the wall. I think the team will be really happy. They'll be able to go in there and say, oh, I'm part of this. I think we're all a bit more connected out there, and I think that'll show over time.
Everything that I've wanted out of the project has been listened to. It's just been a fantastic team building event.
Thanks, Nikki. That's fantastic to hear. So, Mike, I think I'm going to pass back to you now so you can tell us about some of the work that you've done with the client.
So this is Phoenix Hälsa Wellbeing, and they're a charity based in the centre of Leeds. The challenge that they have is that they have got a lot of therapists, they have got a lot of masseurs, they've got office staff, they've got counsellors who come in, and they never actually see each other. And this is the problem. They're literally like ships in the night. So what it means is that they can, they wanted the opportunity to be able to get together. So we came up with the idea of having, getting all the team in, a few nibbles, the odd glass of wine went through, but it was about getting them engaged and actually drawing together. So we set them up with different techniques of things to play with. So pastels, pencils, crayons, all sorts of things, and then swap them round. So the art was almost a byproduct of the day, of the evening. It was about how they could engage, and the conversations were happening. They were just chatting around and really getting to know each other. And that was the big thing. It's especially what Zoe wanted, who's the CEO, was, not everyone wants to go out to the pub. Not everyone wants to go and do different things. So it's how can we get the team together in a fairly leveling exercise? And actually finding the art was they were in the moment, they were drawing things, and just the conversation that we had going around the room, was really positive, that everyone enjoyed it and got something out of it. So, and I think, again, we've got a clip coming up now, Emma, that's got Zoe saying how she found the whole session.
Yeah, brilliant. I'll move on to that, Mike. And just to reiterate that connectivity piece, we've got teams who are disparate, who are spread out, not working together in the same location. This is a fantastic example of how this can be of benefit to those types of teams.
The difficulty is, as I think a lot of people experience now, is that we're not all in the same place at the same time. We're like ships in the night. We see each other occasionally for a couple of times a week. We don't get really chance to connect. And what I really noticed is that it took everybody out of themselves. So it's a real mindful activity, that it's really important to invest in your people. The feedback this evening has been incredible. Everybody has said it's so amazing to have been able to connect with colleagues, to have a break, to feel invested in, to feel like they're really valued. You almost can't put a price on it.
I think Zoe said something really important there, Mike, in terms of, looking after our people. They're our best asset in our businesses. Yeah. And this is a fantastic way to get them together, but also just reward them with time and doing something that's a little bit different.
Yeah, I think it's about them feeling invested in. It is one of the big things. It's about, people caring about their teams and actually thinking this is something different. And actually, it's not a cost, but it's an investment.
Yeah,
because it's an investment in those people. And nowadays, people are wanting more. It's not just about turning up and going to work and doing things. It's about what the whole package is and how you make me feel, how you look after me, and how you're going to make me feel that I'm wanted within the business.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to another one now, Mike and Nikki. And this one was a great piece of artwork I've seen produced. So I'll hand over to you for this.
Yeah, Expect actually got in touch with us because they wanted something for the boardroom. They felt it was important to sort of add a bit of colour and something a bit sort of branded if possible, and then heard that they were having a fun day. So it felt appropriate maybe to sort of do two things at once. And so we set up on their fun day the opportunity for employees and their families to come along and have a go at some painting. It was raining, the day was dreadful weather-wise, but it did not dampen the spirits at all. And we got so much wonderful engagement from parents and from children, and it was just lovely to be part of such a unique opportunity. And you can see here we actually chose corporate colours, so they have then produced, well, their employees and their staff produced this beautiful piece of artwork, which has been put up in the boardroom, and the feedback was really strong, really positive. And of course, you know, for Mike and I, it is about having fun, it's about engagement, it's about having an opportunity to sort of switch off, to sort of quieten the noise that might be happening around you and just really have fun. So it was a wonderful project and we really loved being part of it.
Thanks, Nikki. And I do love the fact that the colours of the organisation and their brand have been infiltrated into the artwork that will be on display. It's fantastic. Mike, I'm going to pass over to you because I think on this one we've got a bit of a familiar face.
We have. We couldn't be bothered with the video with this one, so we thought we'd invite Rob along to talk about it. But this is, well, I'll chat to Rob and let Rob talk to you about it. But effectively, this is one thing we do offer is people working one-to-one, and it might be just a case of doing something different, wanting to get out of them what's going on in the world. But I think, Rob, you're probably best to explain how you felt before you sort of got involved with this and why you wanted to do it.
Yeah, Mike, thanks. I hadn't done any art since school time, really. I used to do cartoons and things, but I've recently sort of thinking about hobbies as I get into later on in life, and I've never done any painting properly. So when I got I took the offer up from myself to do tuition on this. It was really it's quite nerve-wracking, really, because I was thinking, never done before. I didn't want to make a mess. And actually what I found was, by listening to you, I actually quite got into it very quickly, really relaxed, and created some couple of paintings where I never thought I'd do, really. So it was just being present and being really mindful. I just really enjoyed the sort of sessions with you, and and they're hung up on my lounge and kitchen wall right now.
I think one thing we've noticed, and I think what Rob just said then is, and Nikki, I'm sure will agree with this, on every session that we've done with everybody, it takes them out of what they're doing at the minute, and gives them a bit of time to their time, or just because when you're doing something like this, you're in the moment, as you can see from Rob's concentrated face there as he's dribbling paint. You know, you're thinking about what you're doing. It takes your mind off other things, and it's just a great way of just having a bit of you time and you know, bringing those kind of levels down. And I think that's something you commented on, wasn't it, Rob?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, for me, it was like Tai Chi. It was like yoga, because what I did was I felt very present and mindful. And I think, you know, those sort of therapeutic effects are really things like, you know, it really makes you relax. So things like, you know, switching off and then being really present is a de-stressor for me, really. And I wasn't anywhere else, really. It was just in the moment doing my stuff, and I couldn't believe how much the time went, really.
Yeah, it might have gone quick for you. Yeah. But one of the things, another thing, just telling us that we've worked with, you know, Nikki and I have worked with people like Candlelighters, where we've worked with parents who've gone through really traumatic things, and for a couple of hours that it's not, they're giving themselves permission to do something like this, and they don't have to think about some of the things that they're going through. And Nikki will agree, they're fantastic people to deal with, weren't they, Nikki?
Yeah, there was, I mean, the feedback that we got was, which was, I think, the most powerful, was that one of the mums had said she was allowed to be present and to almost forget, just have that break, not forget, but just to know that she can enjoy herself and not to feel guilty. So that was probably one of the most rewarding things we have done. But it just shows that art is so powerful and it reaches people in very different ways. I mean, we've given some great case studies here, with kind of getting people together. They may work together, but not necessarily know much about each other, and it's just giving them that opportunity to sort of engage on a different level. We also are able to sort of do it remotely as well. We've sort of set up for people who do not necessarily get together and perhaps don't have the budgets to do so, we can do remote art workshops too. So the employees receive a box of materials, then we'll go through an icebreaker, and then you know, produce a piece of art that they can then keep at home, or maybe even take into the office and put together when they eventually do all come together. But it's just another way of trying to get people to not put off things. There are ways around this. There's ways of doing things together and having fun, and being more engaged and being positive in a team environment. And it, you know, Mike and I get a lot of pleasure out of this, and we see the feedback and we see the difference of somebody coming into a session and to them leaving. So yeah, we're delighted to be part of such a great project.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that, Nikki, a little bit. I'm just going to go to Robert now and think from sort of an occupational health point of view, Robert, what sort of health and well-being benefits do you think this would bring to staff? Just building from what you were saying about getting into the moment and being calm, those kind of things.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned about Tai Chi and yoga. I mean, these are examples of how you can fire off your what they call parasympathetic nervous system, which is really the sympathetic nervous system fire off adrenaline and cortisone. Your parasympathetic nervous system really dulls that all down. So it's really good for reduce your blood pressure, your breathing rates, your kind of all the stress, the stress hormones that fire you up are kind of like lulled down. So from an occupational health and well-being effect, it's actually really therapeutic effects, and there's lots of research and science out there that shows art actually has that effect, and I find it personally really valuable to kind of take myself off in a different place, and I find the whole thing relaxing. So, for me, there's a massive benefits for your health and well-being, being able to switch off, declutter, de-stress, and being in the moment, which we don't get sometimes in the fast-paced world at times.
Yeah, I agree completely, Robert. And thinking about those wider benefits at work for us and the work we do, that sort of increased focus and attention. So for teams that are undertaking safety critical tasks, reduction of errors, accidents, those type of things, just by taking time out to be in the moment. So thank you everybody on the call for showcasing some brilliant examples of how this can be applied in the workplace. And for those listening in, if anybody wants to try do something a little bit different, we hope that this session will inspire you to think about those options linked to creativity and art. If you want any further information on the range of creative sessions available, just get in touch and we can get back to you with different options. Got a huge range of considerations for different workforce numbers and different budgets. So thanks to Robert, Nikki, Mike, all of us on the call, and we hope that we've inspired some people today.